12 minutes into the 9 o'clock hour this beautiful Monday morning, the 22nd day of January 2018. My name is Ruth Usman, and I welcome you once again to X-Ray. With me in the studio are my usual panelists. Oikeke is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Haru Spice as well.
Yes, you forgot to add the
I
emperor.
did not forget. It was very intentional. He is just Harry Spice. But many thanks for being in the studio on X-Ray this morning. Hope our weekend went well.
Yeah, we thank God we're live.
Okay, we should really be thankful. It's always disheartening when we wake up to sad news, when we wake up to some sad realities as they continue to happen in our nation. I'm talking about the incessant and senseless killings that we have been experiencing lately in the country, of which we have been talking about and will continue to talk about until relief comes. Just over the weekend, again, there was another attack in Adamawa and all that. However, the vice president, Yemi Oshibajo, has there's a committee where he is leading, and it was set up by the National Economic Council, NEC, which is aimed at tackling the armed herdsmen menace in the country. It is believed to be the highest gesture by the President Muhammadu Buhari administration in solving the national crisis. Now, with this gesture, they said, we hope the President Muhammadu Buhari regime is now fully prepared to tackle this problem with all the might of the federal government to bring peace across the land. Now, according to a statement read out by a member of the committee, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, on the farmers' herdsmen crisis, Council constituted a working group to collaborate with the federal government in addressing the issues of impunity regarding the killings and violence. The committee, composed of 9 governors under the chairmanship of the vice president, would work in accordance with the president's commitment to ensure that all perpetrators of violence are brought to book. The killings have festered for over 15 years now, starting with the serial massacre of indigents of communities around just areas of Plateau State, and various task force and peace efforts were put in place without making any meaningful impact. However, as earlier stated, this is hope that it would actually get to the root of the problem. So far, Nigerians have been talking. Nigerians still have their own thoughts about this. But what do you think about this particular committee that's been, created? Do we see this as possibly bringing an end to this crisis?
Yes, anything that will bring peace, it's a welcome development. In the first instance, that is why we have a government. Government must be up and doing to ensure that lives and property are actually protected. You said this ugly incident has actually been sustained for the past 15 years when it started from Jos, and today we're still talking the same thing. If I remember vividly, drastic actions and measures were taken in the Jos crisis, where even a state of emergency was declared in that state. So this is not a new development. It's getting worse day by day. It's spreading, from just now it's in Benue. Who knows where will be the next destination? Unless we come together, and begin to address the issues beyond committee. We're talking of sincerity now in tackling whatever it is. Conflict, they say, is inevitable in human existence. But how we come about addressing these issues is actually my concern. I don't see it, when you said it's a gesture from the Buhari administration by setting up this committee, I don't see it that way. It's not a gesture. It is his right as the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of this federal republic to do all he can within his own capacity to ensure lives and property of Nigerians are actually protected. So when you say, it's more like a benevolent gesture to us, no. It is his responsibility.
Maybe not necessarily that, but then just saying that
it's a good measure.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is beyond the president now. We're talking of our architecture, our structure as a nation. Do we need to wait for for Abuja to speak before we do the right thing? We have 36 states in this country, all manned by governors who were elected into office. What are they doing? Their primary duty as governors, first of all, is to protect lives and property, using whatever means they have at their disposal to ensure that their citizens go to sleep with eyes closed, with no fear of attack or massacre, as the case may be. So beyond the intervention of the president, every other stakeholder must actually come together and let's put a stop to this ugly and senseless killing all over the country. It's happening in Rivers, it's happening in Enugu, it's happening in Zamfara, it's happening in Adamawa, it's happening in Taraba, in Benue, in Plateau. This cannot continue. We can't continue to have this kind of, as if we're living in a jungle. This is beyond politics, this is beyond religion, this is beyond ethnicity, this is what do they call it in the Bible, Armageddon or what? We should actually be worried about this.
Okay. When I heard about the panel, I said, well, it's okay. But then I know, just like we've all said, this crisis has been going on for a very long time, over the years, like almost across the country. It's not even in the northern part of the nation that we have herdsmen farmer clashes these days. Even in the east, we've had reports of killings as a result of this kind of clashes. But then we've been having panels and committees being set up to resolve farmer herdsmen clashes in Nigeria. This is not the first time. So, but what I'm going to be saying, thinking now, is that probably this one, the recommendations of this committee or this panel this time should be implemented. Because a lot of times you hear where committees are set up and then elaborate work is done and the recommendations are given, and then by the end of the day, the reports are just dumped. The recommendations are not implemented.
That could perhaps be the reason why this has been ongoing,
yes.
like in the past 15 years.
Yes. So I think this administration should depart from the previous ones and ensure that every recommendation, I'm sure those who are members of these committees are people who are trusted, and federal government should believe that these people can resolve this problem. So the recommendation should be implemented, and it should be implemented immediately. And while the committee is working, we should also not sit down. We should, at other different levels, be working on how we can resolve this problem. Because whether we like it or not, this is not about Abuja thing. It's not only, the solution will not come from Abuja. It will come from all the stakeholders, especially those who are directly involved. We are all directly involved. So the implementation is very key. But then, looking at it again, is that I think one of the things that they recommend is probably this ranching that we've been talking about. Though the federal government has come out to say colonies, which is a more elaborate one. But I think we should even start from the smaller ones. I was reading 2 days ago, and I came across a write-up which says that President Mahmoud, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, once gave 100 billion naira to state governors to establish mini ranches across the country. But as we speak today, I don't know. Nobody heard anything about. And then there was a report too that the Federal Minister of Finance approved and said they gave out the money. All right. So, but as we speak, we still do not have these ranches. In this, have we asked? We have not asked. So this ranching is one of the major things. I think this problem has been going on, like we said, even the previous. So they tried to resolve it. They even appropriated monies. And they said the monies were approved and disbursed, we don't know, to state governors. But then we still did not get those ranches. And then we are still talking about the ranches today. So federal government should not, it's not about using big languages. This open grazing is not what can work anymore, all right? So let's do a different thing.
Now, what does this say about the value we attach as Nigerians to the lives of fellow Nigerians? I mean, if we're talking about this crisis as something that has been going on for some time, and then we're still treating it, the way it's been so far. It's more of a reactive situation that we are in right now. Many Nigerians have condemned the fact that we are never, proactive. It's always, being on the reactive part. Now, we've had different incidences. A senator some days back, was asking, why is it, for instance, that the president has not paid a personal visit to the affected areas? That to him, it's like an indication that just shows, well, the kind of value we attach to the lives of Nigerians. Hundreds of people have been dying lately. I mean, we're just talking about what happened from the end of last year to early this year. And then a few days ago, too, there was an incident where about 4 expatriates were kidnapped alongside other Nigerians. However, in that particular report, we just heard more talk about those people who were not Nigerians. As much as, yes, maybe we're doing them some good by mentioning the fact that people who were not Nigerians have been kidnapped. However, no one really mentioned that, policemen were involved who were Nigerians. Are these indications, to show that we place little or no value on the lives of Nigerians?
Yes, I think it's a problem. We're selective in our judgment. We're selective in condemning what we think is wrong. When death happens in A, we overlook it. When it happens in B, we rise. Unless we begin to see ourselves first as human beings before the other definitional identities of tribe, religion, class, and co, we'll never make headway. We like to politicize, things in this country. We, just like she said, we are all usually emotional. Instead of really addressing the issues, we leave the main issue and begin to pursue what is not really the reactionary side of it. Now, monies were made available to the tune of 100 billion. Some selected people, 36 of them, perhaps connived and shared this money amongst themselves. The killings we're talking that is manifesting today started from them. For you to misappropriate money given to address a problem, and you are like
that
to
could affect the lives of
people around you to stop this senseless killing, you pocketed it. You see, you've killed more than the physical killings that we're witnessing today. Actions begets actions. When you allow a small, sore to fester, it becomes cancerous. So from a little pimples now, we have cancer, on our hands. We're treating issues. We're now reacting to what has happened. So what happened to this money? You said ranches should be created. The federal government under President Goodluck Jonathan didn't waste time. He quickly released these monies. What did you do with this money? You embezzled this money. You are worse than the physical aggressors or killers as we speak now, because you refuse to put in place what would have led to this senseless killing. And again, when we begin to politicize issues, we become very emotional. We don't ask critical questions. Like the Senator Dino, and Misao of Bauchi and Sheikh Sani of Kaduna were talking. Me, I saw that as their right of dramatization. They are, yes, it's more
the
like
rights
being,
of the senators.
yes, they are dramatizing the privilege as senators, as being before the cameras. Otherwise, as senators, Federal Republic of Nigeria, you are as powerful as the executive. When you see governance, it's a collective bargain. When you see that the executive is not doing well, what are you supposed to do? You have to invoke the necessary tools of governance and call these people to order. Rising up, taking up the floor and telling us, wailing, lamenting just like we do on the streets, it's, to me, taking, lawmaking to the gallery.
Isn't that moving the executive to action? I mean, they're coming out to talk about it.
No, that is dramatization. It's like what we are doing here. Our weapon is what we're saying. They shouldn't be talking like journalists. They should be talking like stakeholders in the governance affair. In Benue State, about 70 or more than 70 lives lost. And the National Assembly did nothing. There was no, there was no issue, there was no invocation of the Constitution on where the president has failed. If it's to call for his impeachment, if it's to call for reprimanding, if it's to call for sanction for the intelligence community, these are their responsibilities as, the alternative government. They are there to check the executive. So, but now you climb the rostrum, and all you tell us is the president has refused to visit these places, the president has done this, this is not what we bargained for. You are playing to the gallery. You are being smart by half. You have the weapon of governance. Use it judiciously. That is how governance works. In other climes, what happens is the legislators must bring the president to the National Assembly. Come explain to us what is happening in this country. If he has no explanation, they'll tell him that, Mr. President, you have no capacity to continue as the president of this country. So therefore, do the needful. But they, just like us, they are lamenting. So what is their role? They get big amounts of money every month as allocation, as salaries, and what they can do is to act like we do by, being helpless. Now, do you want us to take to the street and go to Aso Rock when you are the one that will help us to talk to the executive or the judiciary if you think they are doing wrong? The judiciary has the right to also check you people if you are abusing the law or if impunity is taking over affairs of the state. So when you hear people talk like this, it's for political benefits. Is to be seen, they want them to be seen on the sides of the masses. Meanwhile, they have the weapon of bettering the lives of the masses. They are not doing. So because election is around the corner, people are now aligning themselves with the masses. No, you don't have to do that. Begin to do what is expected of you. Invoke the Constitution. Where the IG of police is not doing well, call the attention of the president. If the president is not doing what is expected of him, you invoke the relevant section of the Constitution. It's not by telling us that the president has not visited. Are we interested in visiting killed victims or victims of clashes or herdsmen before we know that we're in governance? You should stop the killing from happening. I don't want to see my president visiting sites of killings. I want him visiting sites of constructions, commissioning projects. I don't want to see a mourning. I don't see people in carnival doing carnival for mourning their deaths. I want to see governors arranging for industries to be established. So what the lawmakers, the executive, everybody should be doing is how to prevent killings. Are we saying we should die first, then before the president should come see us? This president is very nice. No. We must not allow that to happen.
The killing should not even
happen. It shouldn't even happen before we are comparing deaths that happen in America. Donald Trump was everywhere. No, it should not happen in the first place. We don't want to be mourning people. This is not a killing field. Like you said about the expatriates kidnapped in Kaduna Road. It's sad that Nigerians were involved. Nobody heard about them. It's only the white people, the expatriates that the emphasis were. So this is, again, another selective judgment by our media men. A life of every man is the same, whether you're white or black, we're all equal. So whatever happened, we had an ugly incident that these people were kidnapped. Let us have all their manifest instead of selecting that, giving us report only on the white guy. It's not fair.
That is to show the value that we place on ourselves. I remember the other time I was watching a foreign media where someone went and blew up a place, and then someone shot and then killed one person. And I remember how the security agencies blocked street to street until they got the person that did the shooting. That killed one person. And I was like, wow. Here, when we hear on media saying 25 persons killed, 10 persons killed, and it's like, it's normal now. Nobody, I mean, the highest you can see is somebody making a statement saying, ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. That's it. But I see they block the streets. Yes. No, they block the street
On
to
a
street, and
lighter
I'm
note
like,
there.
wow, this is how it should be. But now we're used to ourselves dying in 10s, in 20s, and it doesn't really matter anymore. The Nigerian police and security officers who are working under very, very pitiable conditions. You know, they're there probably trying to protect the foreign expatriates, and then they're caught up in this, and we don't even remember them. I thought it's just the Canadian and one other person. All right, so I think we need to change our mindset, and we need to begin to do things differently, and we need to reawaken our sense of value. All right, and we need to begin to do things differently, really.
As we speak, about 4 or 3 doctors have been confirmed dead from Lassa fever. And nobody is reporting it, nobody is talking about it. You know, when we select what will add value, political value to us, we're setting ourselves for mockery, for more danger. You know, Lassa fever is coming and nobody is talking about it. You know, when you're talking about this value that we attach to human lives, we like to make capital, political capital of our misfortune. You know, everybody is talking about it. Colony. Colony has not come, but our doctors working to save lives. Now they are losing their life. Nobody is giving them credence. Nobody is rising up for them. The media men will, when they are to report this, they report it somewhere behind, you know, hidden somewhere. Then the social media, because it's not a political killing, it has no political benefit, nobody is talking about it. Lives are lost every day in other parts of the country. Nobody will talk about. We select what we will talk about, as if some lives will not matter. It's not fair. Nigerians, this is an attitude we must all begin to change. We cannot continue like this. Don't wait to select what appeals to you. The life of the man in Zamfara, life of the man in Bayelsa, and that of the man in Ekiti. All lives are the same. Human life should matter to all of us, regardless of whether you're Christian, you're Muslim, or what. We should begin to protect ourselves. The kinds of deaths we're witnessing is just so appalling. I don't understand. When you go to worship centers, they are not helping. You know, so much regurgitation of hate speeches. When you go to everywhere is filled with fear, with venom. Nobody is even invoking the power that are inherent in our holy book to see how we can solve this issue. Everybody is cursing. Everybody is condemning. The more you invoke fire, the more the country will continue to burn. Why not choose the alternative? Why isn't it time we begin to pray using the word of God? You know, to begin to address these issues using prayers that can suppress all these issues, not prayers that will aggravate it. We've had enough deaths in this country. What do we gain? You know, sharing pictures of gory bodies, mangled bodies. Do you get any satisfaction from all of these killings?
Well, now you've sounded like a very typical Nigerian. I mean, for any and every problem, prayer. And sometimes, you know, they say, hey, look at the problem for what it really is and take practical measures. But then, as Nigerians, I'm sure we can never really take that away from us.
We must continue to pray, because we're very spiritual and religious people. But on a more serious note, this panel, this committee, like we started, like we said, the recommendations, and I think one of the things that we recommend is this controlled grazing. All right, because this open grazing is outdated. It's no longer. It prones us to the crisis that we're having right now. So, for instance, if they recommend that ranches should be built, and monies are approved, I think those monies should be followed. By the time the 100 million naira was given, and the billion was given, and then approval from the Minister of, I don't know, nobody followed it anymore. Okay, we just abandoned the event, overtook it, and then we abandoned, and then except of course Harry Spice, maybe they didn't release the money, we don't know.
Well, that's
Okay.
another
Yes.
possibility.
Yes.
But as it is right now, I think the governor of Ekiti State is saying they should pay they should pay with 5,000 naira to register, in host communities. I don't know if, that's a proposed plan by the federal government. However, he, is speaking based on...
That is, regardless of his shenanigans and shortcomings in governance, but I've seen him giving practical solutions
Yeah, he
of
really has
governance.
been open to this.
Yes,
because I would have expected a lot of opposition from him, but then he's saying he's even giving them 3 months to come and register.
Because the point is that you cannot do without these people. They are Nigerians. This is their occupation. Now, they've been reckless. Some of them have been reckless by invading people's farm to the extent of taking lives. So what do we do to stop them? Do you wage war? If you're waging war against your people. So no, what do we do? Like what the Ekiti man is doing. For you to settle in Ekiti, you need to be identified. Pay certain fines that will, this is another revenue for his state. Now, what it means now is that he's able to control the activities of these people. Whoever is coming to Ekiti means it's registered. And whatever happens, he has where to go to. There's a data bank now that he falls to. That okay, these people entered, and this is what has happened. Amongst you, you must fish out who invaded this Mr. Ayola's farm. This is being accountable. You've put up that security structure in your state, and I'm sure. In this country, we like to borrow from other people. Colony. Why do you have to even use the word colony? A ranch is a ranch. If you're trying to aggregate these people in a place, you call it another name. A ranch, bigger ranch, mega ranch. Use it. Why are you introducing? You've not exhausted the existing vocabulary. You're bringing another one. Colony is like you're trying to colonize these people. So these people would think that, okay, the Fulanis are coming to colonize us. The era of colonialism has gone. The era of war and conquer has gone. Nobody can conquer anybody. Nobody can force anybody into any religion. We have our freedom to exercise our rights. So the idea of federal government regulating these people, it's a welcome idea for me. First of all, we'll look at the educational benefits of this intervention. That means the children of these herdsmen will have opportunity to be educated. An educated mind is a disabused mind. When you have education, rationalization, logic, reasoning becomes part of you. So if there are certain things you want to do that you are negative things you used to be doing, education will help you to regulate it, just like the religion will also help you. It's part of the socialization. So now people can go, their children can go to school. In terms of security-wise, they now know where their animals will not wander into people's farms again. They are in one place, secure, their own cattle are protected by the state, by the government. No cattle rustling will happen because they are in one place, enough adequate security will be given to them. Then the economic activities of that area will also boom. You cannot go out of that colony assigned to you. As every registered business, what's it called? Cattle business is also business. Just like radio business, you have to register with the relevant authority to carry out your business on my land. If government is buying the land from me, I should be compensated. Government cannot just take over people's land and give to another people. No.
Harry Spice, I hope that the government's plan will be in accordance, with what you're saying, because it sounds reasonable. It sounds like a plan. But then, do we for sure know exactly how government plan to carry this whole thing out?
As critical stakeholders in governance process, this is my own, thinking.
So we're hoping that they're making
government should,
good consultation to know the best way to go about it.
Yes.
All right. Well,
and I think enlightenment is very key. All right, because probably the current crop of headsmen that we have may not understand what this means. So we need to explain to them, and explain to them very often, for it to sink into them that, look, this is even for their good. Because when the open anti-grazing law was established in Benue State, they didn't accept it because ranching was part of it. Now we're going to ranch, and then everybody will have to stay in one place. But I think they didn't quite understand, and they feel this is an attempt to destabilize our business and all that. So I keep saying that we need to enlighten and educate these people on the importance of this kind of grazing, in terms of the quantity of meat that they will get, the milk, and everything. And like High Spice said, education for them, and then protection even for their cattle. We need
to good health as well.
Yeah, to good health. So we need to enlighten them. If we don't educate them enough, they will not know. Ranching is not a new thing, by the way. I used to hear about Obudu Cattle Ranch. That was a ranch, but it's now turned into a resort. Why was that? And I think, and they will also have a Mokwa ranch, and then also is it Akunu Ranch in Ondo State? All right. So I think this problem. About country ranch, yes. So we have, attempted to have these things before, but maybe because of one thing or the other, we couldn't follow up. So I think this is presenting a very good opportunity for us to get it right this time. But the people involved, all the stakeholders must be educated enough to accept it, yes.
All right. The number to call is 081-8999-1011. Is X-Ray on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. We're looking at security challenges, of course, as has been the case lately in the country, and looking at how far we've come and what we could do better. So feel free to call in and share your thoughts with us. If you have been following the conversation, it's 081-8999-1011. Ensure to turn off your radio, please, when you do call in. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Abdulsami Adam.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, my contribution really, I really like and affirm with what Harold Spice said. All his contribution has really been interesting. I just hope the presidency right now is listening to what he has just stated, because really I applauded him. So talking about the issue of this ranching, it could be in other way round negative if education and proper enlightenment is not done. So I as well advise that proper enlightenment should be done, not only by the Western education. At least we get people that are close to this cattlemen, give them advice, education in their own dialect and in their own way. I guess this is what I have for now.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. 081-8999-1011. That's the number to call to share your thoughts with us. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome.
This is Samuel calling from Abuja.
Okay, Samuel, we're listening.
Okay, concerning the ranching, I think to me, what happened in Benue as a whole is never a good idea at all. Because you see, one thing with the Fulanis, once they invaded your land, they have invaded your land. Once they entered, they have entered. I think that to me, the ranching as a whole is never a welcome idea. It's never a welcome idea. It's never a welcome idea at all.
Okay. So what other suggestion do you have? Oh, okay, he ended the call. All right. Well, we're hoping you would give another solution, perhaps, that you think would work better. But if you can call back, please do that. 081-8999-1011. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Okay, I think we lost that call as well. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Please stay away from your radio.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning, welcome. What's your name?
My name is Fred.
Fred.
Yes.
Friedenbach. Okay, you're welcome. Please, your radio is interrupting.
Okay, I'm back from it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this issue of colony and what have you, I think first and foremost, they should disarm these so-called herdsmen because they are not above the law. We see them as regional armies, and that's just the truth. Our leaders should come out with the truth because you can't come to a community armed with AK-47 and ask. It's funny. Let's tell ourselves the truth because the truth is that God sees the heart of every man. Whatever be their heart, God knows. Let them disarm them. They are human beings. They come to the community, to a state, coming with arms. Lawlessly. How can you think it will work?
Okay, so if they are disarmed, what else then afterwards?
Let them be disarmed. Let them, the civilized. They are not. They are in my village. I'm from many districts. They are everywhere. They don't talk to you. They don't talk to you. They behave like that. That people are saying they are Nigerians. Most of them are not Nigerians. We know. They come from Niger. They come from Guinea. They come from Chad. They are not Nigerians. Not that we have house planning that are Nigerians. But a situation that they will come from everywhere and are accepted even better than other tribes that are with us. We see all these things as they have declared it in their meeting in Kano. So let the government not cover anything up.
Okay. Thank you for that. I don't know how much of a difficult thing it will be to find out those who are really Nigerians and those who are perhaps from other countries.
I don't know. It shouldn't be difficult because we have agencies who are saddled with the responsibility of knowing who is a Nigerian and who is not. And we have our borders and we have offices and agencies mounting those borders. So how come people are coming into this country to cause mayhem, like it's alleged? And then we can't say these are the persons and we can't explain how they got into the country. Then somebody should be held responsible for something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, we like to trade blames. We like to, to push away our problems, our responsibilities. Government is also doing that. The citizens are also doing that. Nobody's ready to actually face these issues. If foreigners are invading our land, what are the security agencies doing? Are they all cooling off in their offices? What is the immigration doing? What is the customs, the NIA, the DSS, the police, the border patrol guards? What are they doing? When we always absolve ourselves of certain shortcomings, we postpone the problems, and begin to treat what's it's not even necessary. Everybody, whether citizens or non-citizens, must respect and obey the law of the land. When you go contrary to the laws of the land, you should be prosecuted by the relevant agencies. Like I always say, you don't have to wait for Mr. President to give you directive when anybody is, invading a bank to steal. The same way, if you see anybody going, into people's farms, invading their farms, it is the responsibility of the security agency at that time to stop that crime, to stop it immediately. That's why I always say we like to make political fortunes out of our misfortunes. Instead of doing the right thing, we allow it to develop into something big, and everybody becomes an expert, a commentator, a leader. We're all talking at the same time, but we allow it to happen. The person that caught, you are aware of this invasion of foreigners. What effort did you make in reporting to the immigration office? That is governance. That climb, a suspicious movement is enough to call the 911. That is part of the governance process. We must all begin to wake everybody up. Let's do what is right. Involve the security agencies, whether you think they are not doing their work, give them information, give them intelligence report, and let's see them not talking. I seriously hate to wake up every day and we're still talking about same thing, same problem, and nobody's talking about the way out. How can we have this ethnically, farmers, cattle, herdsmen clashes for 15 years? 15 years, same story, same narrative, same outcry, and nobody has, we're not doing anything. So like I always say, we must not look at the man in government today. We should look at the government in all of us. These people will leave, and other people will come, and the story will continue. The only way to halt it is doing what is expected of us. Is the police formation, are they doing their work? The SSS, are they doing their work? Every other person, are we doing what it's, our responsibility? When we do all of this, we will not be talking about, we will not always be reactionary.
Okay, let's see who we have here before we end the conversation. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Godwin.
Okay, please keep it brief.
Whatever happens in Nigeria, it will be brought to book. That is all about it. Buhari has cows, and Atiku has cows. So all these problems that we are seeing, they all have cows being manned by Fulani.
Hello?
Why can't they have this ranching in Katsina and whatever? How is only talking of grass only in Benue State and whatever? I can't understand what is happening. The only thing is, in Nigeria, if they want it, let's behave like Paul said. Let them treat them like all that. Let them bring this in and let us fight it all. That's all. Let them behave like Ghanaian. That's all about it.
Can we ask him, where is he? Where is he? Where is he based? Ask him, where is he?
Where are you calling from?
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, I'm
So
not,
that
I'm not quite sure.
you cannot be on air and be inciting people to take laws into their hands,
Oh, that's
and
exactly what he said.
an eye for an eye will leave us all blind. Fayose is doing the right thing, by regulating the activities of the herdsmen. Tell your governors to also do the same thing. That is how to govern a state. Just like I said, everybody has the right to be anywhere he wants to be. This is what the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says. But if you must be in where you think you should be, please, you must obey the laws and of that land. You must respect, their laws. You must respect their culture, their tradition. Nobody's above the law. And nobody can stop another person from aspiring to wherever he thinks he wants to aspire, because we are all one united Nigeria. But we must respect the law. Whoever breaks the law should be brought to book, the book that is never read.
We shall hopefully read that book someday.
We need to raise the ethical standards of governance in Nigeria. Our governors need to sit up and protect their citizens. And we also have a role to play as individuals. As individuals, we also have a role to play. We need to convince ourselves, one after the other, that we do not want this crisis anymore. All right? It is when we agree to end this crisis that it can actually end. If we are not convinced and we don't plan and we don't work towards ending it by ourselves, there's no panel, there's no committee that will stop it for us. So Nigerians need to love one another. Let's begin to see ourselves like one. I mean, you see someone on the street, the person is the same thing. If you hurt the person, so, I mean, you're hurting yourself by the end of the day.
Can we quickly describe what, we mean when we say we are one? I remember listening to someone some days back, and he was vehemently saying it is just not possible that we are not one. We have many.
The person is.
I do not know, from what angle the person was seeing it. Perhaps he's thinking that a literal 1 + 1 has to be 2. What do we mean when we say?
And then he is saying that maybe you're a Yoruba man and I'm an Idoma woman, so we cannot be one. First, we need to accept that we are human beings. It's not about the tribe. It's not about the religion. We are human beings, and we feel pain. We feel laughter. We feel everything that I feel is the same thing that you feel. So it's a human being first of all. If you kill a human being, then maybe Harry Spice should talk about it.
Do you know why we are one? Because we use same blood. That when you are being transfused with blood, the blood type does not discriminate Igbo blood from an Hausa blood, Idoma blood from an Igala blood. When you go to the hospital, they'll say, go and bring blood. They don't say, go and bring free of, the other communicable the diseases. Otherwise, nobody will ask to go and bring a Hausa blood or an Igbo blood. That is why we are one, number one. Then because we use the same road, we use the same market, the same hospitals, the same school, we are one, please. The geographical delineations you see is for ease of governance. It's not to separate us. It's not to say we are different. No. The cloud shelters everybody. This, man-made delineation is just for governance purpose. It's not for anything. Okay. We are one, and we shall remain one.
I am sure we'll have this conversation another time, but that's the much we can take on X-Ray this morning. Many thanks to Harry Spice and Oikeke for being Harry Spice, the Emperor. And of course, Oikeke, the what now? Oh, the Empress. All right. And many thanks to those who called in as well, and those who were unable to call as well. We'll continue our conversations as always right here on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. I'll be back in the 10 o'clock hour on Pro Bono Chambers. Do stay with us.